Episode 83 Five Things You Need to Know Before Getting a Job in Public Relations.
Welcome to the PR Playbook Podcast, the only podcast giving you actionable skills and advice you need to execute a strategic PR program. Warning: what you hear next may lead to brand awareness and increased sales and customer exposure. Now here's your host, Rinjini Joshua.
Hello and welcome to episode 83, Getting a Job in PR. I've wanted to talk about this, and I've talked about it with a lot of interns and people that are interested in working in PR. And I think there is some things that we should clear up about publicists and PR people and what they do and how glamorous this job is. So, five things I think are important to know, and we're going to start real quickly. Number one, it's actually not very glamorous at all. PR people are behind the scenes. So if you're the kind of person who likes being behind the scenes, making things work, getting things done, feeling like that internal sense of pride and accomplishment, you are not going to be the one getting recognized. So remember, you do have to be comfortable with being behind the scenes. It's not glamorous. You don't get rewarded publicly, I would say. Your reward is your client getting rewarded publicly. So just remember that it's not really as glamorous as Samantha from Sex and the City makes it look, or a host of other PR people that are in TV. It really is not lunch dates and things like that. Now, every industry has their nuances, but even then, going to events sounds like a lot of fun. And don't get me wrong, to some degree, it's really fun. But to the larger degree, the more important part is that it's a lot of work. For example, I go to CES every year, and everyone, my friends, get excited. They're like, isn't it so cool? Well, frankly, I don't always get to see the whole expo floor. I'm usually working from sun up to sundown, literally trying to go to bed by 10 or 11, just so I can wake up at 7 o'clock the next morning, 6 or 7 o'clock the next morning to start work again. So it is a very intense, it's very laborious, and you really have to have a lot of endurance to be in PR. It's not glamorous. The second thing is it requires a lot of creative writing and thinking skills. So you're almost like a detective. That's the thing that I think is the most fun part about PR, is that you really have to have an analytical mind to determine what are like five different angles I can tell one story. So that's very, very important. If you want to get a job in PR, you have to be resourceful and kind of sneaky to get different angles out there and learn how to tell stories in different ways. The third thing, and these are not in any particular order, so just keep in mind they're on a level playing field. But the third thing is you have to have a really thick skin. I think one thing that people don't really realize about PR and why it's such a stressful job to have, and I think like back in the day, I remember graduating from college, getting into PR, and it being like the number 3 or 4 most stressful job after, like, I don't know, law and medicine. It was like one of the most stressful professional services jobs. And you have to have a thick skin. I mean, we are literally getting rejected 100 times a day. And we have to be okay with that. And then we have to figure out a way around that to get a yes, to not get rejected. So we are, getting rejected, trying different things. And that's kind of like the thrill of the chase, I guess, because then when you finally get a yes, and hopefully it's a big one, then you can celebrate within yourself. But yeah, there is a lot of rejection in PR. You can't take things personally. You have to be persistent and continue to move forward and try again. And there's not a lot of time for niceties. It's not about patting yourself on the back or patting others on the back. It's about getting the job done. So one conversation I just had recently was like, oh yeah, somebody told me, one of the people I work with said, somebody told me they're really interested in this upcoming story. They're going to take a look at it. Well, taking a look at it to me doesn't give me a yes. I've been shut down so many times that even that little window, a little sparkle of hope, isn't really enough for us. So you have to realize, like, we have to continue at it until we get that yes answer. So you really have to have a thick skin. The fourth thing is that the really cool thing about PR, and one of the reasons I'm so thankful that I went into public relations and just I love the path that ended up being mine, is that it prepares you for like almost any other job. Learning how to communicate properly with people is so important. It's such an important skill. If you can do that one skill, you can almost do anything. And when I say almost, I'm not a computer programmer. I don't have that mathematical mind. I can't really do that. I can kind of pick up some of it. I can decipher people's language. I can decipher what they're trying to tell me. And I can understand it pretty well and process it, but I probably can't just do everything. And so I think in PR, being resourceful, having a thick skin, being persistent, all those things train you up to be a very good, well-rounded business professional. And so I could probably do business development. I could probably do operations. I can probably do marketing. Well, I know I could do marketing and PR with no problem, with a smaller learning curve than I would if I wasn't in public relations and knew how to communicate properly. And I think that's one skill that everyone should have, communications, because being able to say the right thing at the right time in the right way, we all have had miscommunications and issues, so that's really important. So PR really gives you that ability to do that and communicate well. Last but not least, you really need endurance. And maybe this is kind of a copy of the previous one, but I think you need to be able to stick it out. So, PR is not something that you could try for 3 months and say you don't like it and move on and say that, oh, I tried it out. PR is something that you really have to be in for at least 6 months to a year to really get the ideas of all the different facets of things that you could be doing, because it's got so much involved. So please remember that PR is such a big practice that it doesn't just include, it's not just pitching the media. It's not just writing stories, writing pitches. It's not just researching. It's not just learning how to create brand messaging. It's not just creating bylines and white papers. It's not just building a speaking promote a program or promoting an executive. See, it's all of those things together. And it's not just creative planning for cool campaigns. It's all of those things. So it takes really time to be able to explore all those facets. And I'm going to just do a quick bonus one because I feel like the last one was a kind of a cop out. You must get an internship. You must get an internship because you really want to see what you're getting into. I'm not going to lie. Their first internship is PR, in PR, if you don't have any skills, is not going to be sexy. You're going to be doing a lot of research. If you're lucky, you're going to be doing some writing and some pitching, maybe some briefing documents. But what you're really doing is learning the process of how everyone builds things. And so, like, I still do research. I still create media lists. I still write and pitch. I still do every little thing a PR person does. I do it all still today, 20 years into it. So it's really important to build those fundamentals. So don't have a little endurance, build those fundamentals, give it some time, and definitely get an internship. So the kind of five tips for a recap here is PR is not glamorous. You're pretty much behind the scenes. So if you think you're going to be a superstar, unless there's something else that I'm missing, it's usually not the case. Number two, it does require a lot of creative writing and thinking skills. So be ready to expand your horizons, be sneaky, just think outside of the box. You must have a thick skin. You get rejected a lot. That's our job. Four, it prepares you for so many jobs in the field of business. Five, you must have endurance and be resourceful. And last but not least, definitely get an internship. That's my bonus tip. Some are paid, some are unpaid. You have to be willing to do either or. Usually if it's the first time, because what I've heard now is a lot different from when I interned. But now I'm hearing like you can't even get an internship without internship experience. So I'm hearing that complaint from a lot of new people like, how am I supposed to get an internship if I need internships to get the internship? And yes, that is a conundrum. I'm not sure why they're doing that. I know I interned for free. I had free internships. I had paid internships. As a student, do what you need to do to get the experience because I will 100% tell you whether you're a student or you're transitioning careers, which we'll have a different podcast about that. You don't know anything about PR until you're in it and you've attempted to do it on your own. School does not prepare you. They know only so much. So I hope these tips help. I wish you good luck in your job search. If you're interested in an internship, we have an intern program at the Silver Telegram. Email Erin at the Silver Telegram and catch you next time.